Good evening and welcome everyone to English Without Borders Weekly Thursday webinar series. We are so happy to have you with us for today's engaging session at 6 p.m. Tajikistan time, streaming live on both Facebook and Zoom. This evening, we are diving into the fascinating topic of step-by-step lesson planning for a content and language integrated learning class. And our esteemed speaker will be sharing her valuable insights on this topic. Before we hand over to our esteemed speaker, Marwa Mansour, allow me to introduce her for you. Marwa Mansour was born in Egypt, Cairo, is an English language educator. She pursued her business studies at Shams University before shifting her career trajectory to follow her passion for teaching and learning English. To fulfill her dream, she enrolled at Cambridge University. In 2004, she embarked on her teaching journey in Saudi Arabia and has held various positions in private schools across multiple countries. Her roles have included English teacher, head of the English department, academic manager, CIE exam officer, Cambridge coordinator, and school principal. Marwa has actively participated in several training programs focused on English teaching, teacher training, evaluation and assessment, and preparation for accreditation. She also volunteered at TESOL, Saudi Arabia, for 2 years and is an EVB honorary member for her continuous support of the English Without Borders community. Marwa's academic pursuits include literature, management, leadership, and training. She holds a master's degree in English education from Indonesia. Additionally, she hosts a podcast on Instagram called @teaching.cycle. Currently, Marwa serves as an educational consultant at Ajo University in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Thank you, dear all, for joining our today's exciting webinar. And dear Marwa, I'll give the floor to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Gulnora, for this introduction. You are very generous, guys. You mentioned everything. Thanks a lot for this. Actually, it's an honor to be an honorary member of EWB, and I really would like to thank EWB for such opportunities you are giving to the teachers. And I think we see the result of that. Like all the teachers after the EWB National Conference, they started to reflect to whatever they have learned. I'm really happy to see all the photos, all the activities shared by the teachers. It really shows that this work or this effort gives the result for all the teachers in all the regions of Tajikistan. Thank you, Ms. Golnora. Let's start right away. Dear audience, welcome to these evenings. As we agreed before the last webinar, we are investing our time, we are investing our effort together. So I'm really happy and would like to welcome everyone who is with us here today. Let's start right away. So the topic today is about CLIL, or Content and Language Integrated Learning. It's a long name actually, but we would like to dive more into what is happening in a CLIL class. Let's go together and just let's list together what's going to happen today. We will start by the definition of CLIL. What's CLIL exactly? And what are the key principles of that? And we will learn, this is the main objective of today's lesson or today's webinar, how to plan our CLIL lesson step by step. Then we will see two examples, one for middle school, and of course adaptive, and the other one is for high school. And at the end, we will see together the challenges and some solutions, and finally tips for your effective CLIL planning. Let's start right away. Here we go. As you see here, we have a student sitting there, and this is the language provided, which we believe it's too smart. But here we have that train is the language required. Do you agree or disagree with this? Do we really give enough language for our students, or we give less than required to them? Kindly write in the chat box, yes or no. People on Facebook, they can write as well, yes or no. What do you think? Let's see the answers. Yes, we give less language. Okay. Just write yes or no. Sometimes what is given at school is insufficient for real life. We give less language. Yes. No. Okay. No, we don't give less language. It means you give enough language at school. That's great that you feel so. Okay. So it depends actually on what we believe in. Like, for example, we give the language to the students at school for what purpose? Is it to pass the exam or to live the life or to survive through life? Here it comes. So if we are teaching the students the language just to pass the exam, it means it is less than required. But if we give the student the language just to be able to deal in life, then this is the required level of the language. The problem happens when the teacher is sticking to the curriculum or the book they have. So here we go. It means that we are preparing the students only for the exam. Some of the teachers would say, why would I bother? Why would I work more on, I don't know, teaching the students what they have to learn for life? Because this is our role, guys. If the students are able to learn the language required for life, it means you achieved your goal with them. Let's go farther. What is CLIL? Here we go. CLIL is the content and the language together in one lesson. So, Miss Marwa, sorry, but we are doing that. Maybe we are doing that from the perspective of the language. But what we are discussing today is that how to teach any content in English language. So I would be happy if we have some science, math, or whatever other subjects teachers, art or music, because actually this is the topic for today. Oh, I am an English teacher. Should I leave? No. If you are an English teacher, you have to create sort of cooperation with those subject teachers to teach your English through these subjects. This is the main topic for today. So how will we do that? What we will do, we will learn this together today. What is the benefits of having a CLIL class? Actually, when you are teaching in a CLIL methodology, it means that you are mixing a content with the language. Language is my sphere. I am an English teacher. How about the content? Where can I find this? You will find it with another teacher. And that's what we will discuss today. So what are the benefits here? We have promoting deeper understanding for the content. For example, if your students are studying, let's say, water cycle, it means that they will understand it deeper because you as an English teacher is involved in that. The second thing, it will enhance the language skills in real world. If anyone tries to talk to that child about water cycle, they would be very able to talk about it and to explain it. The third thing, it develops cognitive and communicative abilities. If the student feels himself or herself confident about talking about this subject, of course, they will show the result. Okay, this is theoretically. How about practically? What should we do? Let's go here. What is CLIL? If you remember, in one of our webinars together, we discussed the 7 C's. And actually, CLIL started in 1999 by this lady, Kylie, from Cambridge University, and she created the 4 C's framework. We have discussed this together before, but I would like to remind you because it will put us on the correct path. The first one of the four C's is the content. It means the subject you are teaching. And after that, the communication, which is the language, cognition, when the child is thinking, and the culture awareness. So those four are very, very important to enhance in your CLIL class. Okay, where did this idea come from? Why did she students who are speakers of English as a second or third language, but it is also applicable for students who are native speakers. Let's think together. You are talking to an American child and you are asking him or her, what is pupa? So the child most probably wouldn't know what the word pupa means. Because this word is a science terminology and they study it in the science lesson. But once they study that lesson about the butterfly cycle, and you as an English teacher in the class, you just stress that lesson, children will understand what pupa is, and they will be able to explain to you that the pupa is the young butterfly sleeping in her house and she is waiting to be an adult to get out of that pupa. So here we go. This is the CLIL approach, to mix whatever they are studying in other subjects with your English language. That nice lady started thinking about that approach and she wrote many books about that. And she kept on updating the books until the 2020. That was her last book, as I remember. And I believe I shared these books with you. If possible, I will share them again with you after this session. For the CLIL, there is a certificate or a course that you can attend with the British Council. And these are the units of that course that would make you an accredited CLIL teacher, like from Cambridge. It is very beneficial. It is an online course. You can just attend it and go through all the tasks, and you are a CLIL teacher. Let's go deeper. After 1999 and so on, they thought about updating the 4 C's to be 7 C's. If you remember, we discussed that. And they added computer to it because it is important now. And they added cross-cultural understanding since the world is now a smaller world and all the kids are traveling everywhere. And they added career and learning, self-reliance, like what do the children would like to study in the future, and so on. So it became 7 C's instead of 4 C's. If you would like, again, I can at the end of the session share again the 7 C's webinar that we have discussed together, or maybe you can find it recorded at the platform of EWB. Fine. As we see here, this one is CLIL, this one is not CLIL. If you look at the left side, that man, he has like a template or something. We put all the children in the same template and we ask them to have the same result at the end. But of course, as every student has a different need, they need CLIL, like the photo on the right. That teacher is trying to make different shape of every child whenever they are teaching. Isn't it very difficult? Like, how about if I have 30, 35 students, 40 students in the class, how can I work with the CLIL approach? That's what will we see in the lesson planning. This is a teacher, new CLIL teacher at the beginning. Oh, should I focus on the language or the cognition or the culture or the content? Actually, you should focus on all of them, but in a very organized way. When you start planning the CLIL plan, we will see together, you put everything in order so that you can focus on every part of the 4 C's or the 7 C's. Okay, let's plan then together. As you see in this photo, I really mean to put this photo. We have two teachers here. It means It's not me alone. It's not me as an English teacher only who can plan the CLIL lesson. I have to cooperate with another teacher just to work on that. Let me be clear, guys. If you are a preschool or a primary teacher, your work is very easy because you are already teaching many subjects. So you can reflect to whatever you teach in math into your English lesson, whatever you teach in science into your English lesson, and so on. But for the middle school and high school teachers, or even the university professors, it is quite difficult. Let's go through schools stage because it is very specific in university. But for middle and high school teachers, you need to have regular meetings with the other teachers going into your classroom. So I will be clear with you. When I was an English teacher, I considered myself with the head of the teachers that would come to my class. However, I'm not the class teacher. I'm just the English teacher. But why did I consider myself like that? Because I need to get the feedback from the other teachers if my students are learning English or not. Learning the language can't be shown only on a piece of paper, like the exam, but it needs to be shown in communication. English is a language of communication. So if my students can communicate well in the math lesson, in the science lesson, in whatever, the geography lesson, the history lesson, and so on, it means I had done a successful job. But if they can't communicate, and if the teachers who come to my class are using language one to explain the lesson, and that would be more comfortable for them, it means that I couldn't do my job well. So here we go. Every week, I had to make a meeting with the other teachers who are teaching my class just to ask them about the topics they are teaching. So, for example, the science teacher would say it's about the butterfly cycle. The geography teacher would say it's about rivers. I don't know. The math teacher would say it's about fractions, and so on. They just give me the title of their lessons, and I do my best to reflect to that. Here comes another question. How about if I have my own curriculum as an English teacher and these people are having their own curriculum? It doesn't match. Actually, it goes at the end to the management of your school. If the objective is finishing the book or the objective is learning the language, it is very different. So if it is learning the language, your job is easy because you can adapt to whatever you are teaching in the book. For example, let's say Unit 3. I will start with Unit 3, then after that Unit 6, then after that Unit 1, and so on. So you can rearrange your units according to those reflections and other subjects. Fine? So think about it. It is doable, actually. If your school is using an international curriculum, like, for example, the whole school is using the Cambridge or the IB or the American curriculum, you don't have to do anything because it is already CLIL approach. When you look at the lesson in your English, you will see that it somehow reflects to the math and science and the same unit in the other books. If you are following that, just to take a look at the curriculum and you will be surprised. Fine. Let's go on. Now I wanted to plan my lesson. I had a meeting, let's say, with the science teacher, and she is teaching a specific topic this week. What should I do now to plan my lesson? The first step is to define the objectives. We all do that. But this time, defining the objectives will have like two parts, the content objectives and the language objectives. So the content here is about the knowledge or the specific lesson that you want to reflect to. And the language object will be about your language. Like, for example, the vocabulary, the grammar, the function you want to teach to your students. So here, for example, we have the content, understanding the water cycle, and the language, using the present simple to describe that process. So these are my main focus in the lesson. These are my main objectives. Fine. Step 2, I need to analyze my students' need. And to be honest, most of the teachers, they miss this step. They create one template for everyone. Like they used to say what same size fits all or something like that. It doesn't fit all. The same size doesn't fit all. Every child or every learner has their own needs and their own learning styles. So we want to know the assessed proficiency. Maybe, for example, at the beginning, as I always advise you, you can have a placement test to find out the level of your students regarding the English. Content knowledge, if these students have any prior knowledge about that or they don't know anything. And the learning styles, if they are visual, kinesthetic, auditory. So you have to discover that about your students before planning your lesson. And I'm sure all of you, you have this information about your students. The following one, the step 3, to select the resources and materials. And again, I have seen many lesson plans. And in that part for the material or the resources, it's like a copy-paste thing. All the teachers, they write books, board, markers, projector, and so on. These are not the materials we need. These are very simple things that you should have as a teacher. But the materials we are talking about today is some authentic resources. For example, videos, articles, infographics, and so on. You can find all these things online. Language scaffolding tools, like, for example, word banks that you have some cards ready, not flashcards, but word bank card. Sentences starters, those small slips that you prepare with sentence starter and the children have to complete. Or, for example, a graphic organizer. Or even for some teachers, they have the word wall, like they as a resource for the students. Some examples of that: use an infographic of a water cycle with labeled visuals. So here, this is the water, these are the cloud, evaporation, condensation, and so on. So the children can see all these words on the infographic. The fourth step, so we started by having our objectives, and after that, I understand the needs of my students. I prepared my materials and I know what to bring to the classroom. Maybe I have built a project of the water life cycle. We have tons of them on Pinterest and whatever, you can find them. The fourth step is to plan the activities. Here we go. Here comes the CLIL action. First of all, you have to be aware of the to activate the prior knowledge. Now, the science teacher already taught this lesson in the class. She talked about the water cycle and everything, but I need to activate this knowledge. We can do this by the KWL walls or charts. We have talked about that before. I know, I want to know, and I learned. So K stands for I know. I already know this about this topic. Or I want to know. Some of the students have some questions in their minds. Here comes the inquiry-based learning. And at the end of the lesson, they have to feel what they have learned during the lesson. So the KWB chart can work to activate the prior knowledge. Some activities can be core activities, like to discuss the content through some interactive methods, like, for example, to do an experiment or to do a group work. Oh, Ms. Marwa, sorry, this is the work of the science teacher. I totally understand that. But believe me, it has another meaning when you, as a language teacher, work on that. I have tried this before, and I will show you what I have done. The third thing, the following thing, for example, you can give them some language practices, like embedded with some science or whatever related to the content activity, like describing, comparing, problem solving, contrasting. All these activities can also work. And at the end, you can summarize and reflect. I just want you to put in mind that you have two important types of activities that you need to include in the CLIL lesson. The first one is the controlled activity. We called it controlled because you, as a teacher, you control the input and you control the output. For example, when we give the students a worksheet, I know exactly what is in that worksheet and how it will be like the input at the end, the output at the end. So I give them the worksheet. It has some questions, fill in the spaces, correct or false, I don't know, match a vocabulary with some pictures or whatever. And I have the answer key for that. It is really obvious, really clear to me how will be the output. The other type is the free activity. Free activity depends on the creativity of the students and their collaboration together. It's really important to do that. So you will plan one free activity, one controlled activity, and one free activity. So again, I don't want to lose you somewhere. For the activities, what will we do? You will prepare an activity for activating the prior knowledge at the beginning. Then you will prepare a controlled activity, then a free activity, and at the end, you would summarize. It can be by activity or by anything. So, are these activities important? Yes. Those activities would make the difference in your classroom and will move your class to be a CLIL lesson. Let's see together like some examples. If the topic is the water cycle, for example, you can give controlled activity like label the stages of the water cycle on a worksheet. How about the free activity? Students can describe the water cycle in groups. They can prepare some visuals. They can do the presentation after that. Or they can prepare some posters to save water around the world or whatever, by showing the water cycle and how it is important and so on. So a lot of things, that is a free activity. The result will vary from one group to another group. Another topic, for example, about ancient civilizations, maybe it is more applicable in high school. The controlled activity can be match the historical terms with the definition, like the term and the definition. This is a controlled activity. But the free activity can be role play, like historians discussing the impact of each civilization they are studying. So it can be like an interview or like a speech, a dialogue between both of them and so on. Okay, so actually the scaffolding tips are always and always available in the language class, like to use the visuals, sentence starters, or rubrics for the free activities. Fine. Step number 5 is the assessment. Don't ever teach any lesson without thinking, how will I assess that at the end? Because it is really important to collect the feedback. How did your students learn? At what level they are now from this lesson? And what should I do more to close these gaps that happened with them? So assessment must be part of your lesson plan. It's not like the final exam. It is like how to collect the feedback. It can be homework, for example. So the first type of assessment, we know we have formative and summative assessment. So for the formative assessment, we can put some questions during the lesson that the students have to find the answer to. These questions, the students, I don't know, they shouldn't have seen the answers in the books. Maybe they have to research it or something. Observation of group activities, that can be also a formative assessment. Like you give them the free activity and you go around the groups and you can see who is doing what. So this is also a type of the formative assessment for a CLIL class. Summative assessment, of course, we know, like end of lesson quizzes or short presentations. It can be preparation of a video, a presentation, or even writing an article or whatever. Dual assessment is you have to pay attention that during your assessment, there must be the content and the language. Again, as we said at the beginning, both of them must be there in your assessment style. Last step is planning the lesson. Now everything is ready in my mind. I know how will I introduce the lesson. I know what is the content and languages that I have to focus on. I know what are the free and controlled activities I will do. I know all the assessment types I will apply, and I know the needs of my students. So let's plan now. First of all, this is a sample actually. It's not ideal, guys. You can add something more. I can delete something from it. It's just a standard one. And of course, according to your creativity and according to the needs of your students, you can add something or delete something. So the first part can be the warm up, like 5 minutes, as we said. It can be the KWL chart. If your students are used to it, they know exactly what to do. They will just start writing what they know about this topic, what they want to learn, and they will leave what I learned empty till the end of the lesson. The second part is the input, like you will watch a video together or read a short article about the topic, and you will highlight the key vocabulary and the concepts. For example, if you have a vocabulary word like condensation, evaporation, and so on, you will just give the definition of that. And that will be your input time, like 10 minutes. Then we go to the controlled activity for 10 minutes, extra 10 minutes, and the free activity for extra 10 minutes. I would leave that for your creativity. We have only here a sample. Like for the controlled activity, it can be a vocabulary matching, for example, or gap filling, or any worksheet that you would like to find. A lot of them are available online. And after that, the free activity, like a group task or to create some posters, to draw some posters together or to do role playing, whatever is suitable for the content you are applying. And after that, the wrapping, like you will wrap your lesson, you will reflect to your lesson. Maybe you can gather some information from students just to measure if they have learned something or they missed something. Or by the way, in that time, you can give the exit ticket. I don't know if we have talked about it before, but it's really successful method. Like you prepare some tickets in your desk as a teacher, and on that ticket, you write some questions about that topic today. And no one would come out of my lesson until you take one ticket and solve this question. So this is the exit ticket. They have to solve the question. I just want you to take a look at this lesson plan. It's like 40 minutes. But if you see, the talking time of the teacher is 10 minutes, only about 10 minutes in the input part. And the rest of the lesson is depending on the student. It depends on their prior knowledge. It depends on their work together. The 4 C's, let's remember the 4 C's together. It depends on their collaboration together, on their communication together, maybe on their computer knowledge that they can search something on the smart board you have or on their phones. It depends on the other C's that you have, their cognition, their collaboration, computer usage, and so on. So that's how it should be, the CLIL lesson. Students mustn't be sitting in one place. They have to move, they have to do something, they have to talk a lot. By the way, the CLIL class is a very noisy class, and your superiors need to understand that you are applying a different methodology so that no one would annoy you for that. It's a very noisy class. Kids are moving around. Some of them would go out to go to the library to pick a book or something to find some information. It's like a beehive. Everyone is working all the time, and you as a teacher is only a facilitator. You are going around the class watching if they are learning or not. Again and again, the very frequent question that I get, the students are not gonna learn this way, Miss Marwa. They are not used to that. I totally understand. They are not used to that, especially for high school students, for example. It would look to them like they are playing, or you yourself, you are playing, you don't want to teach. But one by one, guys, let's start it by one by one. For example, in the first CLIL lesson I would apply with my students, start with a controlled activity. Don't give the free activity at once. The following lesson, another controlled activity. The following one, two controlled activity. Then one controlled and one free activity, and so on. So the students would get used to your methodology. They would understand that you are teaching them in a different way. That's it. So just try that. Fine. Now it means that the CLIL lesson doesn't depend only on me. It depends only on the other teacher. Definitely, yes. You would need to cooperate with other teachers to take their opinion about your students and to take the topics from them to start working on it. If you can, it would be great if you integrate your lessons together. So, for example, when she explains that lesson, you would visit her. And when you explain your language lesson, she would visit you. I applied that once. I was an MYP teacher, middle years program teacher in an IB school back there in Turkey. And I was not English teacher, I was English literature teacher. And at that time, it was grade 10 students. And we had a story, The Alchemist. I don't know if you read it before or not. The Alchemist is a story that the hero of the story is looking, or the main character is looking for a treasure. And he started his journey from Spain to Morocco to North Africa and reached to Egypt, to the pyramids. So that was the story here. And he was looking for a treasure, and that treasure includes some stones that he can change those stones by some chemistry to be gold, or there is like an equation that would change that to be any stone to be gold. So that was the story about. At the same time, because it was an IB school, the first unit in chemistry curriculum, it was about alchemy, like what alchemy is and how is it legendary thing, and how do chemists believe that one day they will reach to a formula that will help them to change any stone into gold and so on. So it is very related, whatever I'm teaching in literature, to the first unit in alchemy in chemistry. So we had a very nice meeting, me, the chemistry teacher, and the art teacher. And we started discussing together how to plan Unit 1 just to reflect to each other. The art teacher wanted to teach the students how to design some Moroccan designs. Like if you check Morocco online, you will find that they have some very nice art that they create. And she wanted also to focus on the Egyptian ancient history and those drawings on the ancient monuments and so on during her art lessons. So what happened is that we had that nice meeting together, the three of us, and we started planning how to apply the lesson and reflect to each other during our lessons. What happened is that even in one part of the novel that I was teaching, there was a part that the main character, believed that he is God because he could turn himself into a storm and something. It was little fantasy. So he believed that he is God in one moment. At that moment, in that chapter, I invited even the religion teacher to my lesson as a visitor, as a guest, just to listen. I didn't plan anything with her, but it was really nice that when I mentioned about this part in the novel, she stood up and she started reflecting on his belief on himself as a god and so on. And she started talking about that. So as you see here, it is one topic, one unit, but four teachers together worked on making that achievable to all the children. They were grade 10 students. They are very aware of the IB methodology because they are in an IB school and they are used to that. But it was really nice experience. The four of us together, whenever we meet for breakfast or for lunch, we discuss together and we reflect, what did that student do in your class? What happened in your class and so on. So really, guys, CLIL approach is very successful one. And you, as an English teacher, you will feel yourself. That's why I'm telling you, as you are grabbing all the other teachers around you to follow your method in their class. Just try it. Let's move on to this. Finally, here you are. The definite CLIL unit, completely finished and ready to be used. That is a proud teacher. Then what happens? After one semester, this works, this doesn't work. This part has to be changed. This part doesn't provide good knowledge to the students. Here, scaffolding is not enough, and so on. So what happens here? As a teacher yourself, now what we are saying in this webinar is a standardized thing. But maybe in your class, after applying the CLIL, you would discover that that works, that doesn't work. Even, by the way, if you are teaching 2 or 3 classes of grade 10 or grade 9, it can work with 9A and 9B and wouldn't work with 9C. So, okay, that approach can work with grade 9 2024 and wouldn't work with grade 9 2025. So what I want to say is that this is not something obligatory to follow. It's your creativity comes at the end. Like you have to think about everything, you have to decide about everything. And that takes me to a question that came to me. Some of the teachers said, how about the usage of AI to design such lesson plans when it is very complicated and we are new to it and so on? Fine. If you wanted to go to a ChatGPT or whatever to design a CLIL lesson for yourself, that's okay. But the thing is that after the designing that lesson, you have to read every little detail there and find out if it would match your students, the profile of your students or not, if it would work with them or not. I feel sad when I see some of the teachers believe that the lesson time is only a time to fill. It's not like that. The lesson time is a productive time. You should just be productive in every moment with the kids. If it doesn't work with them, you have to change yourself immediately. Oh, Miss Marwa, but we shouldn't change because the kids feel unstable or my coordinator thinks that I'm not working well or whatever. Guys, life is changing all the time. This generation that we are teaching are changing all the time. They are changing all the time. And you have just to adapt to that change. Whatever would work for them, just follow it. Change it. It's not a shame on you. It's not something that would be like you are changing your beliefs or principles. No, just a change and follow the children how they learn and just do it. Fine. What are some scaffolding techniques that we can follow in the CLIL lesson? Again, this is just to summarize that. The visual aids can be some diagrams, videos, charts. Whenever we mention the word visual to any English teacher, the first thing she says, flashcards. Please, guys, even flashcards now, they don't work well unless you put them on a PowerPoint presentation. If you get inside the class with some papers as flashcards, kids rarely are interested in watching that or following it. And what I have noticed recently, kids are not interested on those drawings on the flashcards. They want real photos. So just go online, find some real photos regarding the topic you are teaching. It would look like realia to them. You are bringing realia to the class. And just put it on your PowerPoint and show it to the students. Videos are very nice, but you have to be very picky in the videos as well, just regarding the language and everything. Diagrams, charts, and infographics. These are very trendy now. Like all the kids, they wanted to feel themselves. By the way, even from primary, they want to feel themselves like a businessman or something. And really, they are able to read the charts. If you have some infographics or diagrams, they are able to follow you and they like it more than anything. So just to try it, especially when you are reflecting to a math lesson or social studies lesson or something, follow it. It's really nice. The following one is the language support. Like, as I said, you have some word walls or sentence frames that are already ready with you, and you can just use them with the students. Collaborative learning, like peer work, think, pair, share activities. It's really nice. And you can find a lot of these activities on the Project Zero of Harvard. Maybe I can share the link with you. They have tons of activities like that. I want to just shift a little bit from my presentation to these samples. Just a second. I will stop sharing and I will share again this website with you. Just in a minute. Yes. Here we go. Can you see the CLIL sample from Cambridge? I hope everyone can.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Fine. So these are some samples of the CLIL lesson plan. I wanted to show you very different types because I don't want you to stick to one type. You have to choose whatever is suitable for you and for your students, and after that, follow it. So this is one from Cambridge, and as you see here, the title, it is planning a lesson or a series of lessons. So what happens here is that in some of the lessons, you have to go through a series of lessons. It's not only one lesson, and you have to go through a series. And this is the magic of CLIL, by the way. Choose a very small content. It's like micro-learning, if you remember that webinar. So we are going micro-learning here. Choose a very small part, plan a lesson for it, reflect to another topic or another subject, and just practice it in that subject. So it is the water cycle today, and we are practicing how to use the present simple in an affirmative sentence, just to form affirmative sentences. Fine. So you just choose one small part. This is another lesson plan from the British Council. Actually, this is the standard one. The British Council is the standard one. And I will share the links with you. You can just open and look at it. And here we go. We have the aims here, the objectives, the level, the time, the material, and all the steps we have talked about. And we have some tasks here. Some of them are controlled, some of them are free. Most of them are focusing on the language and on the content as well. I will share the links in the chat box so you can just go through it and read it in details. Here also, I have another one. Just a minute, I will show it to you. This resource is really, really nice. I know that you see that it is teaching science through English. It's not only science, actually. It can reflect to other things. You can apply the same methodology in this publishing from Cambridge, just into other subjects as well. So this is not for science teachers. This is mainly for English teachers, but how to go through some science topics through the CLIL approach. I will also share the link to your to the chat box so you can see it. And this is the one from University of Cambridge. Fine, I will stop sharing this and we go back again to our presentation. Okay, here we go. Fine. So the scaffolding techniques, as we said, you can apply any of them. That's where we stopped. Let's go forward. Look here at these scaffolding activities. This is the English classroom and the students are out and the teacher says, it seems today during the CLIL lesson, the scaffolding went down. So Of course, it's not literally like that, but it means that you should choose whatever would work for your students very carefully. Fine. Here we come to our last slide. It's about challenging solutions and the tips for your effective CLIL lesson planning. What are the challenges that might face you as a teacher? One of them, as an English teacher, it would be difficult for me to balance the language and the content. And sometimes, as an English teacher, I don't know that content at all. I don't tell you that you have to reflect to every tiny lesson that happens in science and math and so on. No, you just have to choose some of these lessons that would be easy for you to reflect to it during your English class. For example, the kids have a lot of lessons in their science during this month. So what I have to do is that I would just choose the ones that would work for my units or would work for myself as a teacher. I would feel confident applying the CLIL in that lesson. Okay, some of the teachers ask, I am a CLIL teacher. I am a forest teacher. I am, I don't know, and they just belong to one methodology. I don't believe the teacher should follow one methodology. You should change your methodology all the time. So today maybe I would work by CLIL and tomorrow I would do something different. So if the lesson for this week with the science teacher is water cycle, I would take it and do a CLIL lesson on it. The next week, the social studies teacher is talking about different cultures around the world. I would take the topic and work on it. The following one, the teacher of math is talking about, I don't know, fractions. I would take that lesson. It is easy for me. I understand it, and I would reflect to it. I will tell a story about buying a pizza, and they cut the pizza into pieces and so on. Or maybe some of the units in the math is also about money, for example. So I can reflect to it in English as well. Um, Guys, I tried all this, and believe me, it is successful when you wanted to do it and you wanted to apply it. We had very different cooperation with math, geography, history, science. So just to try, and it will be really successful. Another challenge is managing mixed proficiency levels. And it doesn't only happen in a CLIL class, it happens in all the lessons, in all the classes that we have different levels of students, differentiation, differentiation, differentiation. And we have talked about differentiation, and we have talked before about different stations to different levels of students so that you can approach everyone. What are the tips for my CLIL lesson that would make it really successful? Start small, as I told you. Focus on that part and just achieve it. Then jump to the other part. Don't hurry on things. Just go slowly and with small parts with the kids. Use authentic materials as possible. If you use some videos with the native language, if you use some, as we said, photos on your PowerPoint presentation or whatever, use authentic as possible. Provide plenty of opportunities for communication. Here comes the free activities. Design the free activity very well so that the students would have the time to collaborate and communicate together, ask each other, and learn from each other. Reflect and adapt based on the student feedback. It means reteaching. So you have to reflect, assess your students, collect the feedback, and adapt to that feedback. Whatever the gap you feel, just reflect to it and reteach whatever they have missed in the following lesson. As we saw in a picture a while ago, CLIL looks like complicated, but it is not. If you go through the steps of planning your lesson, you will really enjoy it and you will really love it. Just to focus on the needs of your students, focus on getting them very engaged into the lesson, reflect to some interesting topics for them from other subjects, and they will start practicing English language within these topics. they will enjoy having your lesson, actually. They will enjoy being there with all these activities and those reflections. That's all from me today. I hope it was beneficial for you. And now I'm ready to listen to your questions, comments, and whatever you have faced before if you applied CLIL.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Marwa, for a wonderful webinar. So we have some questions here in the chat box. The first one has already covered during the presentation, and let's start with the second one. So it says, how might CLIL methodologies be applied in non-academic settings, such as vocational education?
This is a very nice question. For vocational education, actually, I really respect that type of education and I really like it. And I hope that it would increase because we need those graduates more and more around the world now. Actually, it all depends on the topics you are teaching. I'm not experienced with vocational education a lot, but it all depends on your whatever you are listening. Actually, it all depends on practical work, as I understand, in vocational education. You have to reflect to it somehow. If you are a language teacher, I wonder if the question comes from a language teacher. If you are a language teacher in a vocational education school, you have just to reflect it with the topics, whatever they are learning. In my country, for example, students are learning in those schools something related to agriculture, something related to factories and manufacturing and so on. Whatever you are teaching there, you have to reflect to it somehow. In part of my life, I have joined the military forces in Egypt to learn English language. And what they have done is that they were teaching us English by teaching us the parts of the tank, of the weapon, and so on. So it was a CLIL lesson somehow. Like whatever is there in the military, they taught us in English. So it can be something similar to that, I believe.
Yeah, definitely, yes. And the third question here says, how do we ensure that CLIL doesn't widen achievement gaps between students with strong linguistic abilities and those without?
Yes, that's what we discussed almost in the last slide. Like we would face this problem definitely because some of the students can learn very well by having activities and communication. Some of the students, you see them lost in the corner of the class and they are not communicating or talking to anyone. They just depend on those high achievers to finish the task. Here comes the differentiation game. Like at the end, whatever I like, that I end the lesson with a controlled activity, a worksheet that I would give to everyone. So I would measure who understood the lesson, who didn't. It's really important for me to finish the lesson by that. So I would plan for the next lesson. I will focus on Muhammad. I will focus on Ali. I will focus on Zainab. So I would focus on those kids because their worksheets that came at the end of the lesson shows that they don't learn this way. That's why I'm telling you, you don't have to follow CLIL all the time because it doesn't work for everyone. You have to you have to have the variety while you are teaching so you can approach everyone. And those stations, guys, if you have attended the micro learning webinar, we have talked about the nuggets method, if you remember. And in that nuggets one, we played different stations around the class for high achievers and low achievers. So we can take them to that table and we can re-explain something to them. That would also work with them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Marwa. And we have a question from Zibo. She's asking, how is it possible to get a CLIL certificate?
How it is possible.
Yeah.
Actually, I had my certificate in 2012 or something, like 13 years ago. What I have done is that I just went on the British Council website. Let me double check that for you. Just to go to the British Council website and ask for CLIL. And even now, there are two new versions, as I know. One CLIL YELE, YL, it is for young learners. And there is another CLIL that goes with the Take IT. So Take IT CLIL. I would advise you actually to take the Take It CLIL. It's more wide, more general than the CLIL alone. I believe Cambridge applied that after the last update that they have done to the CLIL from the 4 Cs to the 7 Cs. They joined the CLIL to the Take It. So go to the Cambridge website, search Take It CLIL, and there is another one, CLIL YL for young learners if you are a primary teacher. And you can register online. That time, my time, I took the exam in the center, in the British Council. But I think now it is available online. We need to search that, but you will find it on the Cambridge website or the British Council website.
Okay, thank you so much. And we have the last questions here. How do you find time for all the professional development you have? You are always updated and aware about effective TESOL methodologies, an inspiration to all of us.
I see. I never stop learning, guys. It's I wouldn't say that, but even my family, they call me crazy because I can't stay without an exam all the time. I love to study a lot. I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of books. Even if I don't have the time to read books, I listen to them. You know, those applications that would read a book for you. So all the time, believe me, I am a housewife. I'm not a housewife, sorry. I am also a wife. I have 3 kids and I do all the home chores. Like I do the dishes, I wash clothes, I cook for my family every day. We don't eat from restaurants and so on all the time. We eat at home. I do everything, alhamdulillah. But whenever I am doing that, there is something in my ears that I am listening to something. It can be a podcast, it can be a book that I'm listening to, it can be even a song. Just to run after the knowledge. And I love to apply whatever I learn into the class. Now I am not in the class for a long time because I have been in managerial level for long years, but I try to do that with my teachers. Like whoever is there, whoever is getting the training, I try to visit their classes and see what's happening, how are they doing. It gives me joy actually to learn more about the field. You just need to be there. Just read all the time, download applications to your phones, learn new vocabulary, watch those TED Talks. If you remember, I told you about before on YouTube. Resources are available. No one has an excuse now. Before, really, finding resources was very, very difficult. I remember when I was young, I was running after a newspaper that is issued every Thursday in English, only one. But now everything is online, actually. And we have EWB. Now we can learn a lot together.
Yes, Miss Marwa. So I wanted to ask this question, but Mualima Gulnora, she was the first one. Also, I wanted how you can balance your life with your career. Wonderful. Respect to you, Miss Marwa.
um, Miss Zibo, I would say that I don't allow work to my home. I don't allow my home to my work. So really, this is a rule since I started working, and that's what keeps everything secure at home for my children and my husband. Alhamdulillah, I have a very supportive family, but make the borders for your home. Like, don't go home with some notebooks to check or some lesson to prepare or I don't know what to think about. I never go home with that. And when I go home, I don't, when I go to work, I don't think about my home a lot. And those free lessons in between my lessons, I used to use them to prepare my lessons, to cut my activities. In one of the schools, they called me that I have a cutting syndrome because I am cutting all the time some activities, preparing something for the students. So I think this is the secret. Yes, really. I was a cutting syndrome person. So I think this is the key. Just don't allow your home to your workplace. Don't talk about your home, your family, your issues, your problems. Put them at home and go to work with a clear mind. And when you come home, don't bring any paper to your home. That's it. Try it. You will achieve the balance this way.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, thank you so much, Miss Marwa, for giving all these recommendations, yes, advice for uh, us English teachers. And you are truly role model for Tajik English teachers. Thank you so much, yes, for your amazing job, for your continuous support and continuous work with us, English Without Borders. And we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Yes,
Thank you
and
so
thank you
much.
so much, dear audience, for joining us this webinar today. And I wish to all of you good luck and happy evening, and also a happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and especially you, Miss Marwa.
Thank you,
And we
dear. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that. We appreciate your support, your
Thank you
continuous
so
support.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear audience. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a
Thank
nice
you so
time.
much, dear teachers.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye bye. See you.